Good evening. Welcome to the December 19th, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following also will be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for any updates and new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only and not participate, please do not join the Zoom meeting. Instead, go to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you with us here tonight, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors to one of the staircases across the across the hall, and continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the restrooms, and the restrooms are across the hall from this room. We'll begin this meeting with public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being moderated by CTV. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it's their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find you're having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in the boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another as it interferes with the recording of our proceedings. Tonight, board member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom. A reminder, applicants, agents, members of the public speaking other than attorneys will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us, individuals commenting on a particular application have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure documents identify the ZBA application name and tax map number. The application name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated at the end of an individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a set date. Those written comments can be addressed to the members of the board and sent via email, mail, and/or dropped off at Town Hall to the board's secretary, Candace Cowell, in the building department. At this time, I would like a motion to approve the minutes of our December 5th, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
And Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, John, you want to take us through the agenda?
Yes, turning to agenda item number 3, application of Irene Foster Irrevocable Trust dated November 3rd, 2023, 52 West Donnellan Road, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-296-5-21. This application, the hearing on this application will be re-advertised for February 6th. Turning to the decision calendar. I move to reopen the decision on the application of Scott Levinson, 1 Hildreth Road, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-151-1-1 for written submission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to close the application, the hearing on the application of Scott Levinson for decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to reopen the application of Wayne R. Strong, 15 Pine Neck Avenue, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-4-3-53 for written submissions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to close the application of Wayne R. Strong for decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to reopen the application of 153 Herrick's LLC, 145 Riverside Avenue, Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-143-1-45 for written submission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to close the hearing on the application of 153 Herrick's LLC for decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to reopen the application of 153 Herrick's LLC, 140 Riverside Avenue, Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-143-1-46 for written submissions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to close the hearing on the application of 153 Herrick's LLC for decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to reopen the hearing on the application of ML Ocean Road LLC, 914 Ocean Road, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-105-1-12.1 for written submissions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Move to close the hearing on the application of ML Ocean Road LLC for decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to adjourn the application, the hearing on the application of Kristen Sosulski, 12 Shady Rest Drive, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-10-1-39 to January 16th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, going to the top of the agenda, number 1 on the agenda, application of Robert and Jane Drake, 23 Baycrest Avenue, West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-357-1-37.1. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-11.2 G1 special standards to allow the size, total floor area of a proposed accessory apartment in a detached building in comparison to the main dwelling to be 41.5%, where a maximum of 35% is permitted and any other relief necessary.
Kim, do you have the affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Okay, the board has jurisdiction.
Are you an attorney?
No.
Let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
Steve Caputo, 120 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach, New York.
Okay, Steve, tell us about the application.
Okay, first of all, Madam Chairman and Chairwoman and members of the board, thank you for hearing us. Before I start, I just want to point out that the homeowner, Mr. Drake, is sitting directly behind me with his daughter.
Are you going to speak? 'Cause
They're
if
not
you-
going to speak. They're just
Okay.
here to observe the process and keep me in
Okay.
line.
Okay, well, there you go. Okay.
This is a very unique application in that we're going in a direction that the town wants to go with accessory structures and having accessory structures so that families can stay in their property and use the property in the way I think that the town had intended. I should point out that Mr. Drake has passed every level of criteria except for the ZBA. Funding is in place, town has approved it. Mr. Wilcox has approved it. It's just, we have a slight issue, and the slight issue is that the cottage that we are proposing is bigger than the math calculations that allow. Not significantly bigger, but yet bigger. It is Mr. Drake's intention to occupy the cottage, and then his daughter and her husband will occupy the house. One of the primary reasons that Mr. Drake is building this is due to some medical issues that have come up. He cannot stay in the big house, so this house is being built and has been designed to take into account those medical issues. It is not an incredibly large structure by any means. It is a pretty basic one-bedroom cottage. Like I said, not grandiose in any way, shape, or form, and open enough so that he will be able to navigate through it and stay in his property. And as I said, we're not asking for a significant amount of square footage relief, and really no other way that we could do it on this property and still make it functioning for him. It will enhance the neighborhood. I think it enhances the whole town when we have successful applications like this under this program. Valuation will not have any negative impact on valuation. It's not out of character for the neighborhood. Those are my opening comments.
Okay. John, I believe this is yours. Do you want to start us on questioning?
To me, it seemed that it fit the property. I will be honest, after reading the neighbors, I want to review that a little bit more. There are concerns about it. If there's a neighbor,
Was that something done in the
I was
submittals
unaware
for
that
tonight?
we had any concern on it.
Was that done with submittals for tonight?
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a submittal.
Okay, well, we haven't had a chance to look at them, so.
Oh, we
So
have
I
to
think the
comment.
size is not, I don't think it's overbuilt. So that much I would say, but I would want to take this in consideration on this. I don't know if anybody else, you saw the property. You had some.
I didn't get a chance to read it. What basically were the objections or the
I mean,
No,
concerns?
it's a pretty,
I skimmed
You
it
might
too.
be
Yeah.
here, Ed.
You know, I'd like to digest it completely, but I mean, the essence of some of the comments are, which I went to the site and there is a sort of interesting presentation of the side of the house where the side of the property where the unit is being proposed. And there's a dirt road, which is a long driveway, as you know, and then there's another one next to it. So there's a sort of openness and expanse that's actually an attractive feature of the lot. And then, as the neighbor wrote, I mean, there's a real question of, we get what you're trying to do, and the essence of your neighbor's comment really is, can it be located someplace else on the premises, as opposed to that spot? And their contention, you could read the letter yourself, and, you know, I suppose we're gonna have to leave the comment period open, but is you know, on the right of way, this appears to be somewhat intrusive to the experience of some of the people that have access down would otherwise have become accustomed to having. And, you know, to the extent that that can be resolved more than just saying, this is what I want and where I want it and no other way, you know, I'd appreciate some consideration to, you know, shortening the asphalt driveway, maybe locating it on that corner. I don't know, but it's, is there a way to make the accommodation another way so as to still preserve that sort of, you know, presentation of the side of the property and the two driveways together, and then the side of the neighbor's property?
Well, let me address that in that, because of where septic is located,
Understand?
if we move it, whether we move it towards Baycrest or we move it to the northwest, we run into a septic issue or we run into the house. So the planning of it was to put it in, the only place that we could put it is in that location on that side of the property, on the right-of-way side. Could it be moved, could the building be moved a foot or two in either direction?
But the question is not, there's no setback relief being asked for.
There's no setback relief.
No.
So I'm not sure what their complaint is. There's no setback relief being asked for. So if they reduced it by 6%, there'd be no application.
No, okay.
no, I'm saying, I think it's fitting for the piece. It was just,
I
You
get
know-
what they're saying, they
The
don't want it
size
there,
and
but
this-
you're not asking for any setback
No.
relief off the right
No.
of way.
No, we're solid on setback, it's just, I
Size.
understand their concern, because they're going to see it on the right of way, but I have no place, and I know you don't want to hear that.
Well-
But I don't really have any other place to put it, because I've got a septic issue.
It's not that I don't want to hear it.
I didn't mean it,
I'm
I
just
meant
responding
to
to-
comment.
Cool.
I
All
meant
right,
to
well,
comment.
let's see if they're on Zoom
Yeah,
and want to
that's fine.
comment,
Yeah.
and they can make their point.
If I can, since we're handling it, so what is explain to me the septic situation. You have a conventional system for the house, I'm assuming,
Yes,
and what are you putting where are you putting your septic waste?
the septic is going to be on the Baycrest side of the proposed,
Are you going to attach it to the existing system
No.
or put in a new one?
no.
All right, so you're going to have to put in the new technology.
Right, but no, it will not require an IA system because I'm under 600 square feet. But it is going to require a system, and the problem is, the way that we have to lay out the pools, I don't have anywhere else to put, not me, I'm saying the septic company, has nowhere else to put them. I need that area where he's laid them out.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a lot of time and thought put into this to put on the property where we could get it. The issue was, we were very cognizant of not having setback issues, but because of the uniqueness of the property, we also looked at the right-of-way as in essence a buffer. That right-of-way gives us even more room from the neighbor to the, I'm gonna call that the northeast of the property, going towards Castle View Court. So it has the least amount of visual impact of anywhere that we can place it on our property. Other than being on the property, it has an impact.
Well,
We-
If you put in an IA system and connected both units to it, you would actually have less of a space constraint on the lot. I mean, just give some thought to it. You don't have to
Okay.
respond to it. I would feel better. Anyway, so Susan, to your point about any other comments or folks in the neighborhood?
What is the total square footage of the,
One of the
cottage?
problems I have is I couldn't track exactly what the square footage was because it seemed to be different on different things. So give us exactly what the proposed cottage square footage, I guess,
let me
habitable
pull
space
it in.
and the house.
On the proposed cottage, the square footage with overhang and according to the site plan is 704.
The
Right.
habitable part that they use in order to get
Yeah.
Right,
the 35,
That's not
700.
700.
no, that isn't.
We
And-
need, we need the habitable space.
Well, in the
Okay.
application, it states total habitable living area of 452 square feet, but where do we see that in?
It might be on the plan. so
On the
just bear with
plans.
me.
I think there's a confusion because I think I read the plans differently. I have proposed first floor of 627.
Where'd you see that? Oh, on here.
Yeah. So, all right, we need to clarify exactly what we're talking about.
And we're talking about clarify the habitable
Right,
square
isn't that
footage.
correct, Katie?
Yep.
That's what we consider habitable versus habitable.
Okay,
Right, so
So-
the living area, so on your first floor plan, it says living area 627.5 of, not in square feet, not including hallways and closets.
Right.
yes.
Right, but that number is different from the 452.
So where do you
Yeah.
get the 452
Yeah, so-
from?
yeah, what,
And what is the, so
That's
that's
the
my
first
problem.
question, is where do you get the
Yeah, and I
That's
have
my
a-
problem.
I have a
Yeah, the
different- the site
627
plan
is
and the
more than
plans have different
50% of
numbers.
the 1315.
honestly, if it's 600 square feet and you're 6% over, if you reduced it by 36 square feet, you wouldn't need us.
Right. The issue was whether he can do that. That was the concern. We have to keep a lot of open space within the unit for Mr. Drake to be able to navigate as things happen. And that's, to cut it, but we have to worry, once we start moving doorways and openings,
Okay,
now we're
got
moving
that.
interior walls, and that becomes the issue.
Okay, but, all right, so then we've got habitable space of 627.5 square feet. What is the house?
The main house?
Yeah.
The main house is.
Habitable
There,
space.
habitable space on the main house. Oh, he did it, when he did the site plan, he did it
So
in-
when they put it, on the floor plan of the house, not on the survey.
on the floor plan of the house.
Yeah.
The main house is on
Yeah.
Total living area 1315 square feet.
Right here, it says
1315. All right, somebody want to do the
35.
percentages on that?
what it says in general.
So it would come to 460, would be 35. So that's 35% of the 14.
I thought I had it as a 4.5% forgiveness, but
I calculated 47.7.
47.718.
Yeah, I calculated 47.7%. So,
We're round up, it's 48.
okay.
okay.
You said you were looking for 41 and a half, that, in the application, that's not necessarily accurate.
Right.
Yeah, and they're inconsistent, because if you look at his numbers on this plan, it uses
700 and some, yeah.
1,088 for the
Yeah.
main and 452 for the accessory
Yeah.
apartment.
I'm going off the site plan, but the site plan unfortunately does the existing house, garage, and porches, so it's not giving me habitable, it's giving me lot coverage.
All right, we need
So
to
I need
get,
habitable.
we need to get
We have habitable,
accurate.
you just need clarity as to whether or not that's what it is.
Yeah.
Habitable is on these plans,
Right,
but it's not the numbers you just said.
No.
okay.
So that's something that needs to be clarified, obviously.
Understood.
And in light of what Mr. Mastonio was saying, is there any consideration to bring that down a little bit, that percentage, because it's not 41 or whatever the application called for, it's 47.7.
So if we can reduce by, maybe we should put this over and let me see if we can sharpen our pencil on
I
this.
think so.
And then I might not even have to come back.
If you get to
I can do
35,
it.
you don't need us,
Right, right,
and then the neighbor doesn't have anything to say.
right. And I have to get back to you with the correct habitable numbers anyway, so I
Right.
have to put it over. In the meantime, maybe we can go on this two ways. But let me, I'll talk to the homeowner, we'll talk to the architect, sharpen our pencil, see if we can bring,
Yeah, bring it
Yeah,
down a
or-
little bit, or, you know, even if you can't reach the 35, bring it down from
Right.
47.7.
I have no problem where it is. I'm just being straight up.
Yeah.
It's been using the correct numbers, and I'm not
Got it.
overly concerned about the neighbors because there's no setback relief being asked.
Right.
I just,
Right. And, you know, we're going to see if the neighbors are here on Zoom and they can make their comments known to us. And in the meantime, have you received a copy of what their comments were?
I have not, but I was given a copy of it to
Okay.
read. So I have a basic understanding of what their
You could
concerns
take-
All right, but you know, you should probably have a copy
I
of
will
it so
get-
that
I
you
will
can,
get
you
that as
know,
well.
look at what their concerns are.
okay.
Okay, because then you want to be able to address that as well.
He's got it.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter?
All right,
If you do,
Yeah.
do you want to say anything?
Wait, we wanna hear from the neighbor first?
All right. Is
Yeah,
there
let's hear from-
somebody on Zoom?
there is, yes.
Okay.
This is
Okay,
Larry
fine.
Wood, the neighbor.
Okay. All right, okay, but those are all things you come back with.
I have to come back with information for
Right.
you anyway, so
Right.
we can address both of
Are
those
we
issues.
waiting for Mr. Wood?
Yeah, I think you can probably hear me. For some reason, my video is not starting.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not, we're not seeing you.
We see your name.
I can go ahead just by,
Okay, are you an attorney?
no, I'm not a neighbor.
All right, well then, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
It's Larry Wood, 23A Baycrest Avenue, West Hampton, which should be the lot down the driveway from the applicant's lot.
All right, Mr. Wood, tell us what your concerns are.
Well, I disagree a lot with what the spokesman has indicated and also with the application. I see that there's an ADU or accessory unit program in Southampton that a minimum lot size to be considered would be 30,000 square feet. If I take away the driveway, this lot's only 24,000 square feet. And the accessory dwelling unit is actually located, it almost appears closer to my house than their own house. And there's no reason to put an accessory structure 13 feet from a common use driveway when there's area of the house that could be expanded without any of these issues being raised. I mean, there's area in back of the house, there's area above the garage. They're already ripping up the ground to move and change a septic anyway. Certainly, something could be moved there too without additional expense compared to what's being done now. So it just seems like this hasn't been thought out, and what's being asked for can easily be accommodated in other ways. I was confused about the size myself. I couldn't tell. It looked like it was 704 square feet, which is a pretty large structure to drive by every day, 13 feet away, that Amazon trucks and the neighbors and everybody else is driving by for the noise issue. With an accessory apartment, I would think there would be parking requirements required. Currently, their parking is just in the front setback, which isn't allowed by zoning. So the application shouldn't even be under review. It just seems like there's so many issues. I received this on Saturday by certified mail. I've lived next door. My family has built the house probably 70 years ago. I rebuilt it, remodeled it several years ago. And it just seems like all of a sudden I'm getting bombarded with this in my backyard, closer to me than to them. And there's been very little time to even reply and address these issues that to me seem like it's just disingenuous at best, the things that are in the application.
Mr. Wood, where is your property? I'm a
So
little
if you look
confused.
at their site plan, and I did receive a certified letter, as I mentioned, I was on Saturday. If you look at the site adjacent to their pool,
Okay,
so because it's a flagged lot, that would be my side yard. My structure is 20 feet from there, where they're placing their cottage is almost closer to my house.
Mr. Wood, you understand they're not asking for any setback relief?
I understand they seem like they're calling it an accessory apartment when it's convenient for setbacks. When you don't show parking that accessory apartment requires, then that's convenient to ignore. So it seems like it's
That's
kind of
nuts.
a feast nor foul here. And that's part of my confusion in looking at this. And, I'm an architect, I'm used to kind of digesting zoning requirements. I did it quite successfully at my own house next door. Everything I built was compliant with the requirements for the zoning. And now here I see a neighbor, kind of flaunting that, putting it right near the driveway and right near my house, when it could all the things they're trying to do could easily be accommodated back by the main house, by improving their parking, whatever it would take. I mean, they have added a pool, they've added a lightweight, or the screen porch in the back is a very lightweight porch. It's not quite a permanent structure, I doubt it has a foundation. And then the septic was moved from the rear of the yard. So again, this is the reason that's the leftover space is because they put all these other things in the way in the meantime, which shouldn't, be a motivation. I mean, if I took that approach next door, it'd be a sorry state, I think. So,
can I ask a question? What is the vegetation around this property?
it says wire fence. That's not true. This may be there's no screening from the road. I've placed a
There's no
fence
screening?
and about 25 arborvitae trees on my side of the property to try and get privacy. And now I find out, here I have practically another structure on my doorstep after doing that.
How far is your structure from your property line?
Well, my front of my house faces the common driveway. So
Yeah.
my side of the house, at that side, is about 20 feet from the property line, which is the required setback.
Okay. And they're looking at.
Wait, your house is 20 feet from the common driveway?
From the side yard, I think.
From the side yard where their pool is?
His front yard faces the roadway. So it's 20 feet. And then there's 24 feet to the proposed cottage, is that correct? That's how I read it. So
Yes.
that's 44 feet.
That's how I read it too,
And
yes.
it complies. I mean, I need
Yeah,
to
I
remind
know.
the board, but
Complies,
it's just, it's.
That's not something that's before us,
But
Mr.
on
Wood.
top of that, I mean, I just want to address a couple of things that he said. The lot complies, the flag is included, the fact that there's a 20-foot right-of-way that this lot is burdened by, that benefits other properties should not be held against them. I mean, they have to have a setback from this right-of-way.
And they do.
So, I mean,
We're only talking about the percentage.
Right.
That's the thing we all have to remember. We're
Right.
only talking about the percentage. Whether or not we should allow a variance for an ADU to be more than 35% of the habitable square footage of the primary residence.
Right.
That's it. That's
Right.
all we're here to talk about.
And this board
Can I
has
address
also
that?
taken into consideration a little additional space for ADA compliance and.
Absolutely, and we also don't have any issues with regard to parking here. The building department has reviewed this, and their review has not brought up any parking issues.
Right.
We're only here to
Percentage.
address the application as it stands before us. So do you, sir, have any objection or any comment with regard to whether or not this property, and unfortunately right now, we don't know the actual percentage because we have to get a handle on what the habitable square footage is
And there's going to
for
be a
each of these
consideration of
properties.
looking to retreat a little bit from the
Right.
percentage, so.
But we're talking about
Right.
35% is the maximum square footage. In the application, they're seeking a variance for 41.5 percent,
And we
which
think
is
it's a little bit higher.
6.5%. Do you have any issue with the 6.5%? that you'd like to address?
Well, the way that it is written, it says the variance issue and any other relief. And that any other relief is kind of scary because it kind of overlooks all these issues that I've picked up on that maybe should have been picked up on before they got to this point. I mean, I've only had a few days to look at this. I'm not sure how long it's been, who's looked at it in detail and checked other planning issues.
That would be the building department.
But to pick one issue and then say we're going to give all other relief also, without taking a thorough
But they're
look at
not
some of the
giving
things
any
I
other
raised in
relief.
my letter, I
Right.
think
The
is a
point
valid
that Mr.
concern.
Leonard is making is that we aren't being asked to give any other relief other than the size of the structure. And that's all we are required to deal with at this time. And that's going to be addressed in terms of clarification of the square footage and some possible retreat, depending upon the needs of the client. And
We're going to look,
the only thing I
Both
could
of
ask is that, given that there is a concern of the neighbor about, have you considered doing something in terms of vegetative screening to help?
happy to discuss that with the homeowner.
Okay, so why don't we also put that on the list?
Hold on, I would like to make one more comment though, sir, for Mr.
I'm not ending it, John, so don't, I'm
Oh,
just
no, I
making my
understand.
point. Go ahead.
Hold on. I just want to make it clear for Mr. Wood, because I think he brings up something that people may not understand. And any other relief necessary is for the purpose of the publication. For the purpose of, in the event that that an application comes before the board and we identify other relief that may be necessary, we would identify it and and decide on it on an up or down vote. So it doesn't mean that there's hidden things that we're going to, hidden variances that we're going to provide. It just means that in the event that something comes up that we see, for the purposes of the publication, giving notice to people like you, the neighbors, that we all understand that there may be other things that need to occur in addition to the requests that are being made.
But they
That's
would
all.
be discussed.
But they would be discussed
Yes.
in full.
Okay. There's no pyramid relief being requested here.
There is not, and what
Okay.
the building department did not indicate we had a pyramid problem.
Okay, is that in your plans? It didn't look like it, but I want to just make sure that that's not something that we need to address. Okay?
It is not.
Okay. All right, I think, thank you, Mr. Wood, for your comments, and I'm sure that, they're going to be taken into account. So,
Can I
we're
make
going
just one more
to,
brief one?
pardon me?
Can I make one more brief comment?
Okay, brief, please.
Well, the purpose of the variance is, of course, for the increase of the size of the accessory unit, but if it was attached to the main house, you wouldn't need a variance at all. So it seems like that debate hasn't happened. I mean, there's no
Well, you
reason
don't
to
know
have a
that.
variance.
You don't know that
It's not
in
true.
terms of the client and the applicant here. You don't know whether
Well, I
they
can tell as
discussed
an
it.
architect driving by it for 70 years that that's possible. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
that's my
that's-
concern.
thank you
is these
very
things
much.
get
So this is their
overlooked in the
application, this is what
process.
they want to have.
This is,
looked
this
at.
is their application.
You may not like
and-
it, but this is what they're here for.
Right, right. Okay, this is gonna have to be adjourned. So, John, do you wanna, how much time do you think you need?
Can I just,
We're into February now. You're gonna make a motion to adjourn the, keep it open. Pick a date, and then everybody, Suzanne, make the call.
you want to come up and speak?
Of course, come up. I'll swear you in. Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
Okay, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Robert Drake. I live at 23 Baycrest Avenue, West End.
Okay, Mr. Drake.
I'd just like to say that one of the main reasons we're doing this is that I do have Parkinson's and I want to have an ADU compliant lifestyle. My house right now elevation is 28 inches above grade. And so there's staircases everywhere that I have to go over. I'm not in that condition right now, but I'm looking towards the future to have a building suited for wheelchair access. So if you look at the plans, you'll see that there's 36 inches between any one point and another point. that limits the size, minimum. There's I mean, 700 square feet, my wife and I are gonna live in that, it's not very big. And when you have to make hallways wider, everything gets cut down in size. This I wanted you to know.
Okay,
Yeah, we
I
appreciate it.
appreciate
To
the fact that
understand
that you made the comment about the current house and it's it's not going to necessarily work for you because of the elevation and the stairs. I
Right.
appreciate that.
We've lived there for 21 years.
I know.
We're not somebody that's coming in looking to plop a cottage in the backyard.
But that
We-
This is to move forward with my life.
I
the only
agree.
issue we have, if I may.
Yeah.
The only issue that we have right now is to get the correct square footage in front of the board so they can determine whether or not they're going to give us that forgiveness. At the same time, we're gonna have Jason take a look at this again and see if there's a way we can lop off a couple of feet. If he can, and we'll submit and we'll get in front of the board. But
Moving forward, when these plans were drawn, I drew them originally. And then that information was moved forward to Jason. And I looked at the size and the requirements for what I would need. And I can't see getting anything smaller than 700
If
square
that's
feet.
the
I
case,
just can't
you'll
see
come
it.
back to us with that, but in the meantime, let's give it
I
some
mean, I
consideration.
drew it.
we just said
I
we were
was the
gonna look at
builder.
it again.
You're gonna
No
look at
one's,
it again.
sir, nobody's making a decision today
Right.
about your property. No one's making a decision. We're not taking an up or down vote. We're just saying we need to know what the percentages are. We need the accurate information. What is the square footage? What is the habitable square footage of the main house? And what is the habitable square footage of the ADU? That we need, because we
All right,
can't
I get that.
decide this application. And then just take her around, look at it. Is there any way you can reduce the relief a little bit? Because it looks like your application asks for 41.5%, and really it looks like it's 47, almost 48. So we just want to know, is there any way to shave off a percentage or so?
All right,
That's
I
all.
think
And if there's
Mr.
not, you come back
Caputo
and talk to
understands
us.
what we
Yeah.
need.
No,
and,
I understand too. Like I said, I was a builder. As a matter of fact,
We're-
I did build Larry Wood's house
Oh, all right.
next door.
And I think you can tell
By the
that
way.
this board is sympathetic to your position.
Okay, but we
Absolutely.
need accuracy and,
Absolutely.
all right, so when would you like to come back?
How soon could you get us back on? Because if it's just square footage, that's a very simple, I can have the architect do that tomorrow.
You could get on the second if you want.
Yeah, I think you'd be
It's
more
up,
comfortable
Candace,
being
what
on the
do you
second,
think?
right?
Yes,
Yes,
I would.
let's,
I mean, this process has taken since
Can we get
April
on the
Yeah, I know.
to get to this.
You're gonna do
Chair,
that through the
right.
holiday? The
As
second?
long as you get the information to me, I have that information by,
what if I have it to you by this coming Monday?
the 23rd.
All right, and you're gonna
Yeah.
look at the,
Sure.
you're gonna look at the side, the, percentages and stuff, okay?
I'm gonna have the architect recalculate gross floor and habitable floor in both the main house and the proposed cottage. That gives us both. So that we'll know the actual the percentage. Then I'll know what my percentage is. Is it 47.2? Is it actually 46? At the same time, we're gonna have another conversation.
Okay, just don't
You
forget
do
that
all that
second
and
part.
No, and we'll
And,
look at that
whatever
too.
it is, come back to us on it.
I will.
Steve, so you can do all that by Monday?
I'll have it to you Monday. Yeah, my word. I'll have it by Monday.
Your
Monday
architect's
is,
gonna be so happy.
Monday is the
You have my
20th.
word. he'll
Work
have
over
it.
the weekend.
No, wait, that's like next, week, it's right before Christmas for sure.
My office is open through Monday, and if
Okay.
I were to say that I wanted to go to another hearing, I'm gonna have somebody sitting next to me that's not going to be happy.
Okay,
It can also be a letter from the architect with the plans to follow. I mean, let's,
yeah, okay.
we don't need,
All right, so, so John, do you want to make a motion?
So we're gonna adjourn this to the second?
Yes.
January
Second.
January 2nd.
Okay. Mr. Repin.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane. Aye. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
and you guys can also appear via Zoom, because if you're on the second, there's gonna be a fuller agenda than the two that's on tonight.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Take
Happy
care.
holidays.
Thank you.
All right, Bob.
Me too.
Okay, number 2 on the agenda, application of Salvatore and Michelle Drago, 20 Layla Lane, Remsenburg, Speonk, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-367-2-9. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of Town Code to legalize an attached garage addition, an outdoor kitchen, and a gazebo constructed without benefit of a building permit on a non-conforming lot. 1. For the garage addition, section 330-6 general regulations that references 330-11 residence district table of dimensional regulations for a principal front yard setback from 80 feet to 72.4 feet. 2. For the outdoor kitchen, section 330-6 that references section 330-11 for an accessory side yard setback from 30 feet to 23.5 feet, and section 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and section 330-83C yards to allow the outdoor kitchen to remain within the required minimum side yard for the principal building, and 3, for the gazebo, section 330-6 that references section 330-11 for an accessory side yard setback from 30 feet to 24.8 feet, and any other relief necessary. Bless you.
I've posted
Board has, I didn't hear that you were done over my seats.
Oh.
Board has jurisdiction.
What is it?
Okay, Mr. Caputo, let me swear you in again. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Steve Caputo, 120 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach, New York.
Okay, so tell us about this
Okay.
application.
It's very different than the one we just did before. There are 3 items, and I think historically I should break down how this happened. I will say right away, there was never a permit ever filed for the garage. All right, that was never done. I can explain, I think, how that happened, but let's go to what I do know. For the pergola and outdoor kitchen, a building permit was issued. That building permit had the pergola and what they were calling a barbecue on the permit, but it was the outdoor kitchen. I did that permit, and I submitted the plans, and we even had the plumbing applicant, or the plumber's application page, listing the spigots that were going to be in the kitchen. Somehow, in the way it worked through, they just treated it as a barbecue. They asked me, would we put in another permit for the kitchen to clean it up? We had no problem with that. But work started based on a building permit. That was then, we were told, it should never have been issued. Correct, I'm not arguing with that there was setbacks. So at least on the pergola and the outdoor kitchen, this was not work done without a permit. This was work done under a permit that maybe should not have been issued. As to the garage, and I know this family very well. Prior to this all coming about, I did prior permits. Every time they wanted to do something, they hired us to do permits. I had gotten a rental permit, I had gotten them a permit for some space over the garage. My understanding, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but my understanding was the contractor that was doing the garage was supposed to be doing the permitting work. Homeowners relied on that, he didn't. I can find nothing in the town records that show that anything was ever filed for that garage. So, again, I understand how this board feels about work being done and then coming for forgiveness. I am well aware of that. But I am trying to at least explain from what I've been able to find out why they did that on the garage. The pergola in the kitchen, at least I have a permit. I actually have a permit number, and then subsequently was taken back because of setbacks. They didn't. They're not architects. They're not engineers. They didn't understand setbacks. They assumed once we had a permit that they were fine. Again, I'm talking about the pergola and the outdoor kitchen. On the garage, I wish I could have more. I wish I had more information. I haven't really been able to find out other than they told us they were doing it, which is I'll throw that out for what it's worth.
A big issue I had here is the measurements are on the site plan. I didn't see them on the survey.
The measurements of
What the relief that you're requesting is on the site plan.
it's on the site
It's
plan.
not on the survey. And these elements are not on the survey. There's a slate patio, but there's no indication of the outdoor kitchen. I see a pavilion, not a gazebo.
I agree that there's
I don't
some
see an existing
missing-
garage.
Missing information
None
on
of
the
it's on
actual
the survey.
survey.
But I think the survey predates the work, and then they did
February 15, 2024, final survey.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
what it
one.
says.
I was looking at the older survey, so. Oh,
says
we were going
one.
with the site plan from Nicholas Vero, which everything is on the Vero site plan.
Right, but it needs to be on the,
Well, just to clear it a little bit, our ZBA instructions actually said the board can accept the site plan,
Oh.
but they have to reference the survey used to create that site plan because they're not surveyors. So as long as he references a survey, and we have that survey on file, the board can accept the site.
Oh, so where it says survey prepared by Foxland Surveying dated February, that's enough?
Right, so
Okay.
what's the person, the architect that do the site plan is saying he used the survey to create the
Mhm.
site plan.
Okay.
As long as the site plan has what the board needs as far as the variance goes, our
That should be
instructions say
enough.
you can accept it.
And
Oh,
that's,
okay.
that's this one.
Right,
Yes.
we got that.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, Bob, this is your application. Do you have any, you want to start us off?
So
Learn a new thing every day.
what did you get permits
This
for?
one.
Love
You
it.
didn't? No, I know. What did you go with the whole permit process? You filed for certain permits.
Yes, I filed for the pergola and should have been the outdoor kitchen. There's also a fence involved, which is not part of this issue. Somewhere along the line, the outdoor kitchen became a barbecue in the paperwork. And when the permit was issued, it referred only to a barbecue, but it was the same plans. It was all there.
Same
I
locations and
don't-
everything.
I don't know what happened internally. In order to clean up, I was asked by the building department, why don't you just bring another permit for the outdoor kitchen and we'll bring them all together? It was, when we did that, we got a little letter, the permit that we issued on the on the barbecue and on the pergola was issued in error because you don't meet setbacks. And that's when everything came to a grinding halt. We have a setback issue, no question we have a setback issue. I'm just, I guess a point of explanation that the homeowners weren't just plowing ahead here.
They went through the process and
Then on the pergola and on the outdoor kitchen, on the garage, again, to reiterate, they were told that someone was filing those permits for them.
is this all completed at this point?
It's all done.
All completed?
Remember, I believe the pergola and the outdoor kitchen were done before the permit was pulled back. The work was
Okay.
already completed, and that's what a surprise that was.
What's the nature of the outdoor kitchen? What exists? What is it?
Uh,
Do you
I
have a
have to-
picture of it?
I have pictures, sure, absolutely. I took a whole bunch of pictures of the backyard, if you'd like to look, and the pergola is on there.
You could give them to Katie.
Oh, I have to go back.
Is that just one set?
You can have it, I don't,
No, but you have a copy for every board member?
I do not.
All right, Candace, do you want me to pass it down and then get to you
If
then?
it has to be on John, I'll step it in.
All right, so give it to
So
me.
who, they start with you.
I mean,
Start there.
Typically, an original is supposed to go to Candace and each board member gets a copy.
I didn't know where you were putting it into, that's why, but
So I assume there'd be a substantial cost to relocate it, move it.
Well, let's talk about what the actual variance is going for.
Yeah, we have.
So 80 feet to 72.4 feet, and 30 feet to 23.45 feet for the outdoor kitchen and the,
30 to 24 for the.
and where is the gazebo?
the
Was 30
pergola
to
is
24.
28 when it should be 30. The pergola,
Wait a
is-
second.
Oh, no, it's
No.
gazebo.
No.
You-
The gazebo
You reference a
is
gazebo, it says
30,
gazebo
it
here.
should, it's at 24.8 when it should be 30.
Right.
And the outdoor kitchen is at 23.5 when it should be 30.
Yeah.
yes,
So-
24.8, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I can't read my own
Right,
handwriting,
right.
24.8,
But the garage is 80 to 72.4.
yes.
Okay. So, I don't know
It's
how
like
everybody.
6-7 feet.
I don't-
Let me
I
just
honestly don't
say
have a
this.
problem.
I think that, it's particularly in light of the fact that the work on the kitchen and pergola were done with permit, that I don't see those two as being an issue at all, and the garage is 8 feet. So to me, it's like, anybody else have any comments?
Was that garage an extension to the garage, or was that a garage? Did they just pull that garage out forward?
This is a brand new,
Yeah, Brandon?
Yeah.
Tell them.
Anybody else on the board? Anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter?
Well, that's quite a kitchen.
might I
Yeah.
I was, I
All right, let me
received.
just see if there's anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard.
No one on Zoom.
Okay,
Oh,
go ahead.
We had received a phone call in my office yesterday by a homeowner. Unfortunately, I can't find his name. It's the last name started with a D. And he said that he was going to express some opposition, and we directed him how to come in on Zoom or come in tonight. And I did not get a written letter from him, but I just think the board should know that someone did call. office and was,
Well, he has
Agitated.
the option to submit a written comments, before we act on the decision, so.
we gave him the instructions again by phone. We told him how to get in on Zoom. We told him and showed where it was on the package that he received, how he could participate. I just, in fair play, I just want the board to know.
What was, his intention?
I actually, the only comment that was passed on to me is that he could see the pergola from his property, the gazebo from his property.
How
Again,
long's the gazebo been there?
A year?
is there, again, is there any kind of vegetation? It looks like there's nothing on the site plan in terms of vegetation.
I don't believe that side of the property has
Yeah.
much along that fence,
And is
but
that
there is a 6-foot fence.
the person who called you the neighbor to the northeast?
I'm not sure, that's
I think
why
you'd see the gazebo, but
I just know that his comment was that he could see it. It was apparently he was a little worked up, and he could see it, and when we told him how he can get in front of the board and express it that
And the
way.
gazebo was the thing that
Yes,
he
that
didn't like,
was
he didn't
his,
say anything about anything else?
no, there were no, that was the only
It
thing that
wasn't
he
the
had an objection
kitchen,
to.
it was just the gazebo.
Right, that was it.
If in fact he has comments like that, are you considering some vegetative screening?
We would certainly have to consider that. It would certainly make more sense to the homeowners to put in some vegetation and to take everything down. So
Well, wait,
I would be
let's-
happy to recommend that if the board thinks that that's helpful.
Hold on a second, let's look at this again.
If that's
So
where it is,
Layla
the
Lane
house
is
is
there,
far away.
so it's
Yeah, I mean,
this.
just put some
So
green
it would be
giants
this
along that fence,
neighbor.
make them happy, and they're done.
Did anybody go to the property?
I did not.
I know where it is, though.
It's fine, I know the.
Okay. It looks like there's quite a bit, I mean, in the GIS, but when is this GIS from?
24.
They're not
looks like
close.
there's-
The properties over there are not closed. This is not like a prior
Yeah,
application.
it looks
They're not
like that
close at all.
neighbor's house is very far away, and there looks to be quite a bit of large mature trees in between.
That I can't see,
On
John.
their side, it looks.
On their
the
side,
neighbor's
On their
maybe.
side.
And it looks bare, kind of, yeah. Well, I would give that as a consideration. I mean, whenever we have like, an infringement and a setback issue, it's always good to provide some
It's
kind of a
neighborly.
buffer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
put some evergreens in
It
there.
just no matter what, so.
Do we have an inclination, just for the purpose of the established record, to request
A screening
cost
plan?
comparison for move if that were under consideration? What would it take to move the
Oh,
kitchen
I
or
see,
the-
yeah.
or the gazebo?
Generally, we do ask that a lot. We ask for, what would cost to remove the things that have been built without permits. We generally ask that,
I can
put in
answer
the
as to the
file.
garage.
That's
The
right.
cost of removing the garage and moving it would be almost double the cost of building it, because it would be a full
Okay,
demo
but we need a
permit.
dollar figure.
I
It's
can
helpful.
look into that if you want. You want it on everything, kitchen?
Yeah,
Is it
I mean, we
okay?
generally try to do that because it's, it's helpful to have an
Okay.
idea
Yeah,
of
and
what
give
the
it to us
costs
in the
are.
nature of an estimate from, whoever you would use to do
Yeah.
such a demolition, rather than just, writing to us and saying, it's gonna cost
Here-
$30,000.
here are the
We'd like to
numbers.
see an actual estimate.
You want it someone's letterhead, not mine.
Yeah, yeah, not on yours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right, so the way I look at it, vegetative screening, we need a estimate of the demolition and anything else?
Is that gonna be on all three, the garage, the
Yeah.
shower, and the kitchen?
Again, I think that, given that they were working with a permit, I think it's less likely that we would be negative on the,
I just wanna know when I get the cost of my estimates, I know which ones I'm looking for, is it all three that's
Yes.
listed, is what I was asking?
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
okay,
We can do that.
okay.
But I don't think I have that for the January
No.
2nd meeting.
No. All right, but you can
Don't
do
wanna
this
mislead.
as a written submission also. Don't you think that we could do this as a written submission?
Yeah,
Or do
Oh,
you
yeah.
want-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's have you
Absolutely.
come back with a written submission that's, gives us the information with some ideas about the screening. And we'll put it on for a decision after that. After we
Yeah, so
see
you would
the-
have to submit by January 3rd. Written submissions by January 3rd with a decision by
Or
1/16.
you can postpone it if you want until,
Or would you like to January
17?
17
I want.
for a decision on
The reason
2/6?
I hesitated, and I know you have a lot on your calendars, you don't wanna push this down. I don't know over the next 10 days if I'm gonna be able to get a contract that's even gonna come out and take a look at it.
So what about doing
I
January
totally
17?
agree.
So, I don't wanna have to come back and waste
So-
your time again,
So
so.
why don't we say, written comments by January 17th with a decision February 6th?
Yes.
Okay,
That'd be,
Okay.
absolutely, that
So
I
you
can.
don't have to come back.
right,
No, I could submit, I can give everything to Candace, and on that one, we're good.
Yep, and then
Okay.
okay,
2/6, okay.
all right.
Okay, who's gonna make that
All right,
motion?
who's
So
gonna,
I will
that's
make that,
yours.
it's mine. So we're gonna have written submissions by January 17th with a decision on February 6th.
Second.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Redmond.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy
Alright.
holidays.
Very
You have a
happy,
good holiday.
safe, healthy holidays.
Thank you. Okay, turning to number 3 on the agenda, application of Irene
This
Foster.
is
Rep-
this is a
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
sorry.
Now we're going on to.
We already did that. Okay, moving on to decisions.
Wow, that was a good meeting.
All right, I want to just say something about the decisions and the agenda. The way, we're working with kind of coming up with a new form of agenda. The way the agenda reads now with decisions is that the original application is reflected underneath the decision name, the applicant's name. That does not necessarily mean that's what we are approving or disapproving. So listen carefully to the summaries because that's going to capture what the decision actually does, not necessarily what is written in the agenda. Okay. On that note, all right, who's got some to read?
I have 2, you have 2, whoever.
I have 'em
And I have 1.
Okay, I'm going to let,
John, go first.
all right, I'm gonna let John Leonard go first. And
Okay. You want me to read Levinson?
yes, you can do Levinson also.
Okay.
And you've got
I've got Levinson.
Scott
Ma'am, you here?
Levinson, and you want to do Michael Levine also?
Oh, yeah, with the
You
lady.
here for a decision, ma'am?
You just want to hear?
Which one?
Which one?
Oh, all right.
153 Herrick.
I don't mind, I can do that first if you want, if you want.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
go ahead,
first.
let's do you first.
We'll get you out.
So that you can go home. Okay, go ahead.
This is for a, there's 2 153, so it's just.
Yeah, well,
two
there's
votes.
two
Okay.
different
yeah.
applications, yeah.
This is for a decision on 153 Herrick's LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-143-1-45. This application is for property located at 144 Riverside Avenue, Flanders. Applicant requests a single and separate determination for a pyramid encroachment for a proposed one-family dwelling on a non-conforming lot. After reviewing the testimony and evidence presented, this board finds that the subject premises is a single and separate lot and that the request for pyramid relief passes the standards that set forth in New York State town law and town code. Therefore, this board finds that the subject premises, that is Suffolk County Tax Map 900-143-1-45, is held in a single and separate ownership for all adjacent parcels and thus entitled to relief pursuant to Town Code 330-115D. This board further grants relief from Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid law for a sky plane encroachment in the amount of 1,840 cubic feet for a proposed one-family dwelling as shown on the survey prepared by Martin Alexander Reed, licensed surveyor, Pinnacle Land Surveyors, dated July 10th, 2024, and plans prepared by Ray Donner, last dated July 18th, 2024. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including separation of ownership between Lot 45 and 46 within 6 months of its decision, and 2, the installation and maintenance by the applicant of all successors in interest of privets or evergreens on the east side of the premises along the property line for privacy.
Second.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Redmond.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Yep, one more.
Chair votes aye.
This is also a decision on 153 Herrick's LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-143-1-46. This application is for property located at 140 Riverside Avenue, Flanders. Applicant requests a single and separate determination for a pyramid encroachment for proposed one-family dwelling on a non-conforming lot. After reviewing the testimony and evidence presented, this board finds that the subject premise is a single and separate lot and that the request for pyramid relief passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board finds that the subject premises, that is Suffolk County Tax Map 900-143-146, is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels and thus entitled to relief pursuant to Town Code 330-115D. This board further grants relief from Town Code Section 330-84D for a sky plane encroachment in the amount of 1,840 cubic feet for proposed one-family dwelling as shown on the survey prepared by Martin Alexander Reed of Pinnacle Land Surveyors dated July 10, 2024, and plans prepared by Ray Darner, last dated July 18, 2024. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the separation of ownership between lots 45 and 6 within 6 months of decision, and the installation and maintenance by the applicant and all successors in interest of privets or evergreens on the west side of the premises along the property line for privacy.
Second.
Mr. Mastoni.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Redhand.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank
do
you,
the
ma'am.
rest in
Happy New
order of the
Year.
Happy
agenda,
holidays.
All right, so,
for people that are following at home.
yeah, okay, so go ahead.
Okay. I'm reading J.G. Farrell, which, J.G. Farrell, 3 Real Estate LLC, Suffolk County Town Map 900-272-2-10. This application is for property located at Middle Pond Lane, Shinnecock Hills. Applicant initially requested variances in connection with as-built parking areas, a sports court, and 2 rooftop pergolas on a non-conforming lot burdened by 2 front yards. After several public hearings and discussion with the board regarding concerns over the amount of parking, paved areas on the premises, as well as how the rooftop pergolas exceeded the height requirement and were inconsistent with the character of the neighborhood, the applicant revised the application to request relief only for the sports court. As modified, this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-11, Residence Districts Tables of Dimensional Regulations for accessory distance from street setbacks of 0 feet, Middle Pond Lane, 12.4 feet, Little Neck Road, and 3.9 feet from apex of Middle Pond Lane and Little Neck Road, where 50 feet is required, and Town Code 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts, and Town Code 330-83C, yards, to allow a sports court constructed without the benefit of a building permit to remain within the required front yard for the principal building as shown on the survey prepared by John M. Abruzzo, PLS, last revised June 18, 2024. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including, prior to the issuance of any certificate for the sports court, I, the removal of both rooftop pergolas from the dwelling, I, the removal of the asphalt area, curb cut, and apron on Middle Pond Lane and replacing the area with grass, and I, restricting the gated access to those providing lawn maintenance only, and IV, the removal or relocation of all fencing to conforming locations, and 5, the submission of a revised survey and revised building plans and elevations to the building department, removing the pergolas and removing the word asphalt and adding the word sports court.
Second.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastoni.
Aye.
Mr. Redhand.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, I have a decision in Mark Schiffer, LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-263-6-919.1. This application is for property located at 45 Fanning Avenue, Hampton Bays. Applicant requests modest variances in connection with the proposed 2-lot subdivision to create 2 lots that will share a common driveway as recommended by the planning board and are consistent with the character of the neighborhood. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a two-lot subdivision for proposed Lot 1, Town Code Section 330-11 Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, to allow a lot width of 100 feet where 120 feet is required. And for proposed Lot 2, small I, Town Code Section 330-11 for a lot width of 90.09 feet where 120 feet is required, and for a lot area of 18,535 square feet where 20,000 square feet is required. And 2 small I, Town Code Section 330-82 lot width for a road frontage of 0 feet where a minimum of 40 feet is required. As shown on the minor subdivision and lot line modifications prepared by Mark Andre Schiffert, last revised August 27, 2024. This relief is granted for the creation of the lots only and not for any existing or proposed buildings or structures. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia?
Aye.
Mr. Redpath?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Good. Okay, next is John L. Scott Levinson.
Okay. I have a decision in the application of Scott Levinson, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-151-1-1. This application is for property located at 1 Hildreth Road, Hampton Bays. Applicant requests variances in connection with the proposed swimming pool, decking, and conversion of a detached garage to habitable space, as well as to legalize a hot tub and decking on the east side of the premises. This project received approval from the Conservation Board, and this board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1. Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations, that references Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a distance from street setback of 63.2 feet from Upper Red Creek Road and 31.7 feet from Hildreth Road for a proposed pool, 45.2 feet from Upper Red Creek Road and 27.5 feet from Hildreth Road for a proposed pool deck, and 5.8 feet from Hildreth Road for a proposed south covered deck, all where 90 feet is required. 2. Town Code Section 330-6 that references Section 330-11 for a side yard setback of 11.3 feet for an existing deck and 11 feet for an existing hot tub where 20 feet is required. 3. Town Code Section 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C, yards, for the placement of the proposed pool and deck in the required front yard and hot tub in the required side yard for the principal building. And 3. For the proposed conversion of a detached garage and open breezeway to habitable space, relief from Town Code Section 330-115C, continuance for proposed front yard setback of 7.4 feet where 29.02 feet is existing. All is shown on the survey prepared by Pat Charles Secafico, last revised September 11, 2023, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by Nicholas Vero dated June 21, 2024. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including that the applicant and all successors in interest implement and maintain the revegetation plan as may be required by the Conservation Board.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Redpath?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
No.
Ms. Burgess?
Oh.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I have a decision in the Wayne Strong Suffolk County Tax Map 900-43-3-53. This application is for property located at 15 Pine Neck Avenue, Noyak. Applicant requests pyramid encroachment variances for an existing dwelling and the proposed second-story dormer additions, a non-conforming lot burdened by wetlands. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-84D Pyramid Law for a proposed total pyramid encroachment of 2,122 cubic feet, south side encroachment of 858 of existing plus 158 of cubic feet proposed, and north side encroachment of 936 cubic feet existing plus 170 cubic feet proposed, for an existing dwelling and a proposed second-story dormers, as shown on the survey prepared by Robert A. Smith, L.S. of Squires Holden, Weissenbacher, and Smith, last revised July 3rd, 2024, and the pyramid square footage, floor plans, and elevations prepared by David H. Sherwood, R.A., last revised June 27, 2023. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Redpath.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, let's see who's next.
So John, you second on that?
Yes, I was. Oh, I was the first. Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
second. What am I talking about? I'm just
Uh,
a mess today.
Julie, do you want to read Helen's, please?
Sure.
And then I'll take back the last.
I have a decision in the matter of Michael Levine, Suffolk County Town Map 900-363-2-21. This application is for property located at 9 Beachland Avenue, East Quogue. Applicant requests relief for a modest pyramid encroachment for a proposed second-story addition on a narrow lot with an existing dwelling. This board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-84D, Pyramid Law, for a sky plan encroachment to the west in the amount of 277 cubic feet for a proposed second-story addition to a one-family dwelling on a non-conforming lot, as shown on the survey prepared by Jason Leadingham, L.S., last revised August 3, 2022, and the plans and elevations prepared by Dennis Melee, R.A., last revised July 12, 2024. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Ms. King.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Redpath.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I have a decision, then you have the last decision, John. I have a decision in the matter of ML Ocean Road LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-105-1-12.1. This application is for property located at 914 Ocean Avenue, Bridgehampton. Applicant requests variances to legalize a portion of a trellis and outdoor kitchen. Applicant also initially had requested relief for an as-built carport, but withdrew said request. While this board does not condone construction done without benefit of a building permit, it does find that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code: to legalize a trellis with an outdoor kitchen. 1. Town Code Section 330-11 Resident District Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory side yard setback of 25.6 feet where 30 feet is required. And 2. Town Code Section 330-76D Placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C yards to allow a portion of the trellis with outdoor kitchen to remain within the minimum required side yard setback for the principal building, as shown on the survey prepared by Stephen Borelski, L.S., last dated October 16, 2024, and the plans prepared by John Gremlick, R.A., dated June 24, 2024. Grant of this relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicants have already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises, including the removal of the carport prior to the issuance of any certificates for the trellis with outdoor kitchen.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Redpath.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, John.
All right.
Go ahead.
Ellen Bellett, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-100-2-12-1. This application is for property located at 529 Seven Ponds Road. Applicant requests relief for a proposed addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming flag lot that will be screened by existing 18-foot arborvitaes. This applicant passes the standards set forth by New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code 330-115C, continuance
for the front yard setback of 30 feet where 65.7 feet is existing, for a proposed one-story addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot as shown on the survey prepared by Lester Holding, L.S. of Squires, Wessenbacher and Smith, last revised August 14th, 2024, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by Lisa R. E. Zelga, R.A., dated August 27, 2024. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the continued maintenance of the existing row of arborvitae's by the applicant and all successors in interest as shown the aforementioned survey.
Second.
Mr. Brevin?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Mister?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Can I have a motion to close?
Motion to close?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Close.
Good year, everybody.
We are adjourned.
Yes, she
Uh-huh.
did.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right, that's,
Where does it
Candace
go?
just asked for the same thing.
I'm not sure about that one.
Slid it right in there. I think we were supposed to.
I used to wear a huge cross in high school.
Yeah,
I
you know, so